Hi guys, welcome back to the Fit Refresh. My name is Sarah Martinez. I am a health coach and a weight loss specialist. I use the 3 pillars of health and wellness: fitness, nutrition, and motivation to help my clients find their happy, healthy lives. Today's topic: how to lose weight without counting calories. Let's go. All right, guys, now's the time. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And of course, like this video if you find it helpful, which hopefully I've packed it with enough content to make it likable. And then, of course, ask questions. Feel free to throw any questions at me if you feel like there's something you need more clarification on or something that really just applies to you. This is your opportunity, so don't pass it. All right, let's jump right into the subject. Today, I'm going to give you 4 ways to lose weight without counting calories. But before I jump into ways to do it without, I do want to touch on the idea of counting calories to begin with. One of the biggest foundations of my programming in general is really about awareness and just generalized knowledge of who you are and how your body works. When you have this knowledge, you can make educated choices and you can make good or bad choices, and you know that you'll be staying within your boundaries of whatever is your happy, healthy weight. So it is important to note that counting calories, exact measurement calories, is probably the most accurate way to at least know with confidence that you are staying within some kind of guidelines of what you want to achieve. Now, that being said, making sure that you measure every cup you eat, that you count out every almond you're eating, that you're measuring out how many 8 ounces of this is or that, if that doesn't make you sound like that's a happy life, then calorie counting isn't necessarily for you, but it is an amazing tool. So what I want you to do is maybe consider it more of a tool for yourself rather than how you're going to live the rest of your life. One of the most amazing tools that I use is an app called Lose It. I love it. It's very user-friendly. And for me, of all the apps that I've used for different calorie counting and for my clients over the years, it tends to be the one that most people say they really love. It's a great way to check in with yourself. So my recommendation for calorie counting is to do it periodically. Check in with yourself. Get to a point where you know how much a certain measurement of peanut butter is, or know how a certain measurement of rice is, all of that. If you know that information, you are going to live life a lot happier, even if you don't calorie count every day, because you'll have known what it looks like when you do see a certain plate in front of you. So I would use that as a tool to keep yourself on track. That being said, I have 4 ways that you can lose weight without just counting the calories that you're putting in your face. Let's do it. The first thing I would recommend is keeping an idea of what visual portion sizes are. So maybe you're not gonna pick up your app, put in this many calories of this or that, but when we're talking about portion size, in a way, it's like inadvertently counting calories without really thinking about it. So everyone can use their hand as a basis to be able to measure out what they're eating, what they're looking at. So in general, the palm of your hand, if I get the camera, the palm of your hand is usually about 3 to 4 ounces of protein. If you cup your hand like this and put it in a fist, usually a cup is about the size of your fist, and half a cup is usually about just the size of the front of your fist. And also 2 tablespoons is about the size of your thumb. So if you're going to put peanut butter into your shake and it looks like it's bigger than your thumb, most likely you're probably having more than 2 tablespoons of whatever item that is. So that's like olive oil, peanut butter, those high healthy fat items. You can still overeat them, which is still, even though they're healthy, still might be a problem. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right the right amount of calories for that particular meal. So my recommendation is that when you're talking about your 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you don't really want to go over 1 or 2 servings of protein or fat per meal. So when we're thinking about that hand size, you're saying, okay, protein, how much should I eat for this meal? You don't want to go over 2 hand sizes, right? You want to keep it within 1 and 2. And same with fat. The other thing that to really keep in check, and probably the bigger part, is keeping your carbs down. So keeping your carbs to 1 cup or less, so 1 serving of carbs per meal. That's your best way to do it, by visual portions rather than trying to write down all your numbers. So I know what you're going to say. You're like, counting macros? I thought we were talking about not counting stuff. I totally get it. Well, here I'm going to give you an easy way to do this. So what are macros? Macros are macronutrients, and there's really three that make up most of the food you eat. Now, some things don't necessarily fall in this category, but most food you eat generally falls in either a carb, protein, or fat, and some of them are kind of a mixture of both, right? They're pretty much every food you eat is made up of portions of all of it, but then some are just more than others. For example, an egg is protein, but the yolk of the egg is fat. So it's a protein and a fat. It's a little more protein than fat, but it still falls into both categories. If you are into keeping check of your macros, you can get exact with it and actually count them. And in that case, you want to look at, for weight loss, about 25% of your daily calories would be carbs. About 35% of your daily calories would be from protein. And then about 40% of your daily calories would be from healthy fats. Now, if you're in the counting mode and it's something you want to check into, you can do it that way. But the best way to do macro counting without the counting part is to really focus on minimizing, lowering carb intake, and pushing and pressing up on your protein and fat intake. If you focus on that daily, okay, every meal you look at, I want less carbs and more protein and fat, you're going to find yourself in a nice spot. The other thing is that I would say is veggies, veggies, veggies. Veggies, veggies, veggies. All the time, veggies, veggies, veggies. If you can put it into every meal, it's going to make you feel fuller. It's going to give you the nutrients you need. And really, that's the point, right? You're trying to satiate your body. This is probably one of my favorite ways to keep yourself in check because there's really very little thinking you have to do about it. Focusing on a whole foods diet is really one of the most effective ways to be able to not think about counting calories, not think about how much you're eating, but be able to eat as much as you want all the time, because really, if you are eating a whole foods diet, you're probably not going over your calories for the day. You're probably keeping yourself in a pretty healthy check. Why is that? Well, pretty much with a whole foods diet, you're cutting out processed foods. And I don't mean to tell you this, and I don't want you to get mad at me, but that includes most cheeses. Most cheese is processed. I know. Some aren't, and if you get a really fresh cheese, I don't know, you live on a farm, you're getting the freshest cheese possible, that's going to be minimally processed, then maybe that'd be okay. Or if you're looking at maybe more of a cultured like cottage cheese, or so you can find these places, but in general, cheese is going to be highly processed. And a lot of times the natural cheeses that they're out there, like your Havarti and a lot of goat cheeses are very natural. Still though, if you get a product from a certain company that mixes it with processed items, you're still getting processed cheese. So really on a whole foods diet, you're probably cutting out cheese or minimally taking that into your diet. Cheese is a lot of calories. So without that in your diet, it really does lower your calorie count for the day. Processed foods, essentially most things that are packaged. So what are you looking at with a whole foods diet? You're looking at fruits and veggies, you're looking at lean meats, and you're looking at fiber-rich, nutrient-dense, healthy carbs. That's what you're looking at. Typically, in a grocery store, it's going to be the stuff that's in the center of the store. They tend to put their refrigerators and everything kind of processed and packaged on the outside, and then your less processed items are going to be towards the center. So that's a diet that you can actually do without thinking about any calorie counting, and most likely you're going to keep yourself in check. One of the best ways to start to really keep yourself in check without thinking too much about it is starting to listen to your body. Okay, our bodies are pretty smart. I mean, they're going to tell you when you're hungry. But it's about listening to it. It's about understanding when you actually are hungry and when you're not, and what those warning signs look like before they've gone too far, either not eating enough or eating too much. I mean, we all know the feeling when you've forgot to eat for a while, and then all of a sudden you have this like pit in your stomach, your blood sugar drops, so you start to lose focus. And then when you're too full and you can't, again, you get a fogginess in your brain, you feel disgusting, so all of these things is your body going, don't do that anymore, you got to start to listen to your body. So there's a couple things that I would ask yourself as you're coming more in tune with your body. I would say before you're about to eat, ask yourself, am I really hungry? How long ago did I eat? Would I normally be hungry again at this time? Even what kind of physical activity have I been doing? Because if you've been doing something really, rigorous and like and it's going to take a lot of energy, your body might be very hungry afterwards, right? But if you've just been sitting watching TV and you feel hungry, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just bored. Maybe a glass of water would solve it. So really becoming more in tune with that before you ever put something in your mouth is going to be really important. Then the next thing to become more in tune with is when you're actually eating. When are you full? When do you feel satisfied with what you've had to eat? Biggest recommendation here, cut your food in half. Before you even eat any of it, cut everything in half and just separate it. Finish one half of your meal and then give yourself a break. Sit back, talk, whatever you're going to do, watch TV or something. Give your stomach time to talk to your brain because they are not on the same wavelength all the time. It takes a little while for your stomach to go, hey, I'm full, and your brain to go, cool, all right, feeling full now. So you have to give it time to actually happen. And the last way to become in tune with your body is when you're done eating, check in with yourself, right? So you cut your meal in half and you put the other half away. Do you still feel hungry afterwards? Well, maybe you could have had a little bit more. Do you feel great? Recognize if half of your meal was satisfying enough, because then it might tell you, oh, next time I don't have to do as big of a portion on my plate. I can do half that portion and be satisfied. Have a salad without a piece of bread one time and see if you still feel full afterwards. Using this time to identify with your body and get in tune with how you're feeling will help you make the right choices when the meal comes in front of you. Well, guys, I hope that was helpful. I think you want to do the things that are going to be making you feel the happiest and also allow you to do this long term. Most of my clients that I work with, I tell them right off the bat, when you're working with me, you're trying to make life changes, big life changes. And to be able to do that, you have to be patient. You have to be consistent. And I know that's like the sexiest thing in the world, but it's true. A quick fix is only going to take you for a little bit. It's never going to take you across the finish line and live in that happy space. So recently I just put up, if you guys wanted to check it out, I'm going to link it here on the YouTube, my YouTube description down below. Obviously my website's down there, so check out my website. But I created a free download for you guys. It's a healthy lifestyle checklist. So if you're just starting to get yourself going, you're like, I just want to know that I have the right stuff available to me, then it's items that you need in your kitchen, items you need in your closet, your bathroom, just other items that'll help you stay on track. So make sure to download the Healthy Lifestyle Checklist. And of course, I'll be back next week with a new topic. Next month is going to be great. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter so that you can get daily reminders and help along the way. Guys, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.